happening, everybody? MG here, MGCovers, bringing you a brand new sports handicapping video. Title of this video, why you should never wager the draw line in soccer. Complete paradigm shift as far as wagering in soccer is concerned. Super excited to bring this video. You're looking at my betting line from this weekend for soccer. We'll dive into that. Going to be super educational video. One of those classic, what you think works usually doesn't, and vice versa. So we'll dive into that just a second. But if you're watching this video for the first time, greatly appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Big shout out to everybody that is currently a subscriber. I appreciate the comments on the pages. I appreciate the views and appreciate you tuning in to all of these videos that we're making, and continue to try to bring really solid content. If you want to follow me on social media, MGCovers, covers spelled with a Z. Give out a ton of content on Instagram storyline as well. A lot of things I don't normally make a video for, I'll put out there. And you follow me on Twitter, it's the same screen name as well. So let's dive into soccer. Now, what I want to show you first, those of you that have followed the channel for a long time, or if you're a client, we changed the soccer model back in, I think, the end of September. And I wanted to shift my entire business to make models that were as close to plug and play as I could get them. And a plug and play model means you rely on the model, and that's basically it. So if the model says, hey, this is a play, very difficult to do for soccer, and there's some steps involved there. But what I want to do is I want to show you the actual wagers. And anytime I make a point, I always like to use real life examples. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we wagered over the weekend, show you the results of that, and then we're actually going to cover the premise of this video, why you should never wager the draw line in soccer. Okay, so just to explain all this before we get started, these over here, these are the teams that we wagered. If you see it in parentheses, that's the line for the dog. That's going to make sense in a second, meaning like Augsburg here, they were the underdog, and that's their line for them to win out. Okay, this over here explains what we actually wagered, whether it was a draw, under, a total wager, or if it was a spread wager. The unit size, this is very important. Unit size, a lot of people get real confused in the correct way to calculate unit size, and this is more to deal with when you're wagering. For example, if you subscribe to a monitoring service, meaning like I have my plays monitored by a professional monitoring service, one play is 1 unit. So you'll see people like, hey, we won this game, we were up 6 units. No, that's incorrect. You're manipulating the units. If you win one game and it's a spread game, meaning like it's a minus 110, if you win that game, you win 1 unit. So you'll see my unit size represented 0.2. That means 0.2 units. For example, my normal unit size is $1,000. So if you see 0.2, that's a $200 wager. 0.1 would be a $100 wager. 3.33 would be $333 wager. Okay, so that's important in a second when we start to calculate profit and etc. And this over here is the results, and this is the actual wager. I should have put amount won or lost. So I think I'm gonna change that. Amount won or lost. Okay. All right. So. All right, we'll just go through this. We'll go through this first day here. So this one was Chelsea, Fulham. So we hit the under here. So that was a win of 200. And on the draw, we wager because the draws are going to hit less frequently. We already know that because you're dealing with 3 lines. So we wagered a lower amount, lost there. We turn around and won with Fulham here with a +1 spread. So that was 200. And then we lost this total over here. So for that day, if you add all that up, we won basically $80. Okay. All right. So you come over here to the next day, this was Saturday. We won this one on the spread line. Look at the draw. We lost the draw. Very important to notate those draws. And then pretty good money management technique here. I wagered 0.2 units. So that way, if we lost this one, we would still turn a profit for the day. I'll be a small profit, $33 profit. And then this was yesterday. And so look at here. We wagered a draw here. We lost that draw. We wagered a draw here. We lost that one. But if you add that up for the day, that was $324 profit. And for the entire Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we earned 0.437 units. So a full unit for me would be 1,000. That's why we say we earned 0.43 units. Now, Very important. This is really good. So, and what we're going to show you is not wagering draws. We're going to actually improve this. But the point I want to make first is this model is so good. This is basically the same model we used to handicap the World Cup. Extremely profitable there. But we're going to make it even better. But I want to make a point. So if you take 437 divided by 3, that means how much profit we're making per day, $145 per day. And if you would take $145 times 365 days. So if we just did what we're doing and you were wagering that same size, you would make, if you kept that same pace, be difficult to do, but if you did, it'd be $52,925 per year using just this same pace. A lot of times people laugh at these unit amounts and why we keep it so small, and it's a point that you don't need to wager as much as you think you need to wager to make really good money in this business. Okay, so wanted to cover that first. Now, what I also wanted to go back to, and that's the premise of this video, is why draw lines are, it's a terrible wager. You should never wager a draw line. And I'm going to talk about what we should do instead. But just for a point of reference, just to review this, 0 for 1 draw, 0 for 2 draw, 0 for 3, 0 for 4. So we had 4 draws this weekend. We missed all 4 of those. Now, this seems sort of obvious. And so when you're handicapped, let's talk about why you would wager a draw line. So those of you that have wagered soccer or know a lot about soccer, you have 3 sides: home side, away side, the draw side. Usually what motivates us to wager the draw line, we don't feel like the favorite's going to win. Based on our handicap, whether it's line movement, our model, we don't think the favorite's going to win, and we don't think that the dog is strong enough to win the match outright. So in our mind, we think, hey, the draw line is a good wager because of those reasons. However, it's not. And let's look at some stats, which will be very, very obvious and easy to see. So, okay, let's go to Series A. And the website I'm using here, this is soccerstats.com. Really good site. I've mentioned this before. You can get just a ton of information. Okay. So now what I want you to look at this. The home side in Series A wins 42% of the time. The draw side only cashes 25% of the time. So logically, you would think the draw line would win close to 30%. But in reality, it doesn't. Look at the away side, 33%. Okay? So I know that's just one league, but the point you need to notice here, there's an 8% difference between the amount of times that the draw side wins in Series A versus the away side. 8%. Now you say, well, 8% doesn't seem significant. Let me tell you something. If you're 56%, your win percentage is 56%, and you're playing all money lines of minus 110, and let's subtract 8% from that, now you're only 48%. That's the difference between winning and losing. So when you're dealing with, in sports betting and percentage, 8% is huge. Okay, let's go to English Premier League. Let's see what the numbers are here. 23% in English Premier League. That means if you wager a draw line in Premier League, statistically speaking, it only has a 23% chance of cashing. That is astronomically low. And then look at the away side. The away side is pretty close to 29%. Okay, let's look at another one. Let's look at the French League here. And obviously by now you guys realize these are all going to be the same. 26% for the draw. Look at the French League away side wins 33% of the time. And what's another one here? Another big one. All right, the Spain La Liga. Same thing. 24% away side, 32%. So now when we go back over here, so just logically think this through here. So let's just write this out here with 6. So we have the home side, just a visual representation while I'm talking, draw side, and the away side. Okay? So logic will tell us if you don't think this team's going to win, more times than not, logically you think the next best thing to do would be to play the draw, especially when you have a big dog, right? You think, okay, it's smart to play the draw. But statistically speaking, I just showed you that it's not smart to play the draw. It would be better if you were picking between these two sides to play the away side, because you already just saw in those stats the away side will cash more than the draw side. But logically thinking, most people, when you were wagering before this video, you wouldn't think that would be true, right? So my point is, you should never wager the draw side. And I'm going to tell you what you should do. What you should do instead is you should play the spread line for that dog. Because now thinking about this, if you play the spread line for the dog, and if you don't know what the spread line means, most of the time if you're playing a dog in soccer, like for instance this soccer match right here, so we played the spread line +1-1. So whatever the final score is, we add a half to that, or we add +1 to that. So if this team draws, or if this match draws, you're going to win your wager. And if they lose by 1, you would only lose half of that wager. Here's another example here. Same deal here. You could play the +half spread, and that covers the draw line and the away side. So by playing the spread line on that dog, you're going to cover that draw side as well as the away side. So now, let me show you the big reveal here. So I've already showed you how profitable this was just doing it this way, just playing draws. But look what happens. So what I'm going to do with the log, instead of playing these draw lines, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of playing those 4 matches as a draw, what would happen if we played all 4 of those matches? Everything else the same, but instead of the draw lines, we would play the spread lines. Bam. The profit would be a full unit, $1,127. So we're not changing anything. The model's still the same. Basically, the wager structure is slightly different. We're still not playing the favorite here because based on our handicap, and the model's good enough that it can eliminate a side. So instead of playing the draw line, we need to play the dog side on a spread line. And that's what we did for all these draw matches. And look at this. Okay, this was a loss previously, a win here. Loss previously, win here. Loss previously, win here. Lost previously, win here. All 4 of those matches won. And the reason is, part of the reason is, statistically speaking, we already know that's going to be higher anyway, right? Because I just showed you the statistical properties of that sport, the away side winning more. In addition to that, we know that this model here is really good at eliminating at least one side, so that in essence gives us a 50-50 shot on either the draw or the away side. But if you structure your wager to play the spread line, it can be extremely profitable. Now, watch this. This will blow your mind. So we already know now that away side statistically has a better shot at winning the draw. So here's what you could do on all these draw matches. Now, you could play, obviously, it would be smart to play some of these spreads, but also mix in just playing the away side, meaning if you could only play one side, let's say the sports books only gave you the option, hypothetically, you could only play the draw or the away side. Statistically speaking and fiscally speaking, which would be the better side to play? It'd be advantageous to play just the dog side. Look at what happens. I'm telling you, this is going to blow your mind. So just try to guess what this would be. Look at the profit. So we're not changing the amount wagered. Like, this is the same amount wagered, y'all. This same amount wagered. And now, this was unusual because all of these draw matches, the dog actually won outright. But even if the away side only won a third of these matches, it would still be profitable. Even more profitable than the way we were currently wagered. Okay? So probably my strategy moving forward and how I'm going to approach this, obviously, you should never make the draw wager. So if you're looking at a soccer match in your own handicap and you're able to eliminate one side, you say it's the favorite side, then the only decision you're going to make is, should you play it on the spread or should you just play the favorite to win outright? So that's really the secret. Super, super excited about the approach moving forward. So yeah, just a quick review. You just don't ever want to wager the draw line in soccer. Instead, play the spread line. And if you feel like the underdog has, however you're handicapping, definitely don't play the draw line. Play that dog line instead, or super safe and play the spread line, because I do believe there'll be some regression. What I mean by that is all 4 of these dogs won here. Realistically, over a long period of time, you can probably figure they're going to win closer to like 30% and not all four like they did in this example. But anyway, nonetheless, if we would have just wagered the spread lines, oh, and let me show you this too. I think, let me calculate this too, because this is real important. Okay, so we made really good profit here. In the win percentage, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we had 6 wins and 8 losses. So that would be 6 divided by 14. 6 divided by 14. Okay, I can't even get this right. 6 divided by 14. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, that's about, hang on a second. That's about 42%. So we're at 42% here. Win ratio. Now, I want to show you the win ratio over here. Watch this. My bad. Okay, win, loss, win, loss, loss, win, whoops, win. So we hit 42% doing it, quote, the old way, playing the draw lines. Look what happens when we play the spread lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we won 10 out of 14. And that's, should be right at 70%. Yep, 71%. Incredible. So we went from making let's just say what it is. We made $437, hitting 42%. Incorporating this technique of playing the spread line, we had a win ratio of 71%. And basically would have made $1,127. So super pumped about this. If you want access to this model that helps you eliminate that one side, you get access for $49.95 per month. You get access to all my coaching videos. We upload one new coaching video per week. There's about 150 coaching videos on the website if you want access to all my plays for all sports. $99 a month. The best way to do this is join for the entire year. You get access to everything on the site, $4.99. You save about $600 on the year. There's a link to join in the description box. Like this video and talk to you guys soon. Peace.